I think one of the worst feelings in friendships and relationships is when you're willing to give your all to a person and they're willing to give you nothing in return. And I think one of the hardest lessons I had to learn for myself personally was that your love won't be valued everywhere that you decide to put it. And so sometimes you are going to be willing to give your all to the person. Sometimes you're going to be trying to be enough for them. Sometimes you're always going to be trying to do the right things, be the right person, and it still won't be enough, especially if it's the wrong person. And it won't always be reciprocated. And some people are going to decide to walk away from that. Some people are going to decide to let you go, even though you gave your all to them out of hope of them holding on to you. And it will make you feel like I don't matter. It'll make you feel like, dang, it must be something wrong with me. I mustn't just not be enough. And there's nothing I can do to be enough. And it really just leaves you with a feeling like you don't even want to start new relationships, but also as if you have to constantly prove yourself to people, or you're constantly trying to be chosen by people. And as if you need other people to choose you in order for yourself to feel like, okay, I am valuable, I am lovable. And I've been there before, but I realized that was the wrong mindset to have. And so my hope by the end of this video is to not only change your mindset towards how you see being mattered by other people or being seen as if you matter, but to understand and stop internalizing when people decide to walk away and still being able to keep your peace regardless of if they choose you, decide to value it or not. And so one of my biggest relationships or hardest relationships where I had to learn a lot of lessons from was from a person that I felt like I gave my all to, a person where I felt like I had invested so much time, so much energy. And the moment things got a little bit hard, they decided to walk away. They decided, I don't value this situation. Or, the moment things came to a point where we had to communicate more, we had to work through a harder time, I saw them essentially let me go so easily, as if I didn't matter, as if for me it was 4 years, but as if the 4 years I had invested into building that friendship held no value. And it was just that easy to let them go, let me go, because I didn't impact them as much as I thought I had impacted them, or I didn't matter to them as much as they mattered to me. And so I saw myself go through a phase of struggling very badly to let that person go, struggling without that person, and figuring out life and how to navigate certain things as on my own, and just without that person, without being able to contact that person, without being able to reach out to that person, without being able to lean on that person like I had for so long. And so just navigating that, I saw myself struggling so much, and it just felt like that person had no struggles, as if, again, I did not matter. And what I had to realize was that, I think the biggest realization I had to have was that even if I don't matter to certain people, that doesn't mean that I don't matter myself. I feel like you have to become aware of your love won't be reciprocated. Your love won't be valued in every single place that you decide to put it into. And so sometimes you're going to give your all to people, and there's going to be absolutely nothing you get in return. I was talking with one of my clients earlier this week, and I used the example of just homeless people. Like, I had this big drive recently, or this big desire to just go out and feed homeless people. I just, out of the kindness of my heart. And what I had to realize is that was something I wanted to do. That was love I wanted to give out to people, not because I needed them to feed my ego and I needed a bunch of thank yous, I needed some love back, but just because I wanted to give out that love. And how I relate this to relationships is that you can give love, you can give your value, you can be the person that you are and be kind, be nice, be a person who's willing to communicate, be a person who's understanding, be a person who's patient. You can have all these different traits and you can give them to people, but not everybody's going to be willing to give you something back in return, nor should you need them to give you something back in return in order for a sense of validation or a sense of feeling like, oh, I do matter, or I am lovable. Sometimes you have to be willing to give without getting anything in return, but also still knowing the value that you hold. And so back to the example of the homeless people, like, I can go out there and I can give, let's just say I could give a bunch of peace out. I could give a bunch of water out, and I will give none of that love in return. I could possibly face somebody who doesn't say thank you. I could face somebody who just decides to take it and just decides to walk away. I could get rejected, but that's not a representation. People doing those things isn't a representation of whether my love matter or I matter. It was just more so like, I'm doing this because I want to do it. And even if it's not recognized, even if it's not valued, even if it's not appreciated, or I don't get anything in return, that doesn't take away from the value of me being that person. And so what you're going to realize is that sometimes you're going to step into relationships and you're going to be the one who's willing to put in all this energy, all this effort. You're going to be willing to talk everything out. You're going to want to fix everything that goes wrong. You're going to want to get over the humps, over all the curves, all the harder moments. And you may not receive that energy back, but you can't allow another person and how they decide to receive your love, whether they decide to value your love, whether they saw your love as worth fighting for. You can't let that be an indication of, oh, I'm loving in the wrong way, or my love isn't enough, or my effort isn't enough, or all the things I try to do right in order to get this person to love me or feel some type of way about me or value me. I can't determine whether those things matter within me based off if that person actually gives me that same energy or that same effort back. I have to see the value in my love. I have to see the value in my kindness. I have to see the value in the person that I am, and just how I show up in my friendships and my relationships. And I have to see the value in that and know that, hey, those things actually do matter. Those things do hold value, even if how other people receive them, even if how other people interact with me, even if how other people decide whether or not to reciprocate it back to me. I have to know that they still matter, because I feel like if you're looking for a sense of mattering, or as if you're valuable, or as if you're worth anything, is based on how other people respond to you, your self-worth is going to go constantly up and down. Because guess what? People are going to have bad days. Some people are going to have different fears. Some people are going to reject you. Some people aren't going to care to reciprocate the love that you give out back to you. And so you're going to just be on this constant roller coaster going up and down, because people are just always going to react to you differently. And so the point I'm trying to make in that is that you have to understand that even if people don't decide to value the person that you show up as, or to decide to value the effort that you put into them, or how you show up in your relationships and your friendships, and all that you pour into it, all the effort that you pour into it, you have to understand that that's not a representation of you, but more so a representation of them, and whether they're able to see your value, and whether if they choose to value your value. Because I remember having a conversation, and it was about the exact situation I kind of just told a story about. And one of my friends asked me, he was like, does that person, and whether or not you matter to them, and whether all the energy and the effort that you put in, is that more so their problem, or is that a you problem? Is it more so my problem and that I didn't do enough, or is it more so a them problem, as in they didn't see the value in that, and in that relationship and in that friendship enough to see that, hey, it was something worth fighting for, or hey, that was a good person. Because sometimes it says more about another person and how they treat or how they handle moments when it gets hard, and how they handle certain situations with people who they claim they value a lot. It says more about them than it does about you, because sometimes you could show up in a way where, hey, you are the one fighting. Hey, you are the one putting in effort. Hey, you are the one showing up and pouring in your all. But it says a lot about them when, in moments like that, they decide to run, or they decide to give up very easily, or they decide that you're not worth investing into, because it speaks more about, what they value. It speaks more about, whether they appreciate, how much they appreciated you or not. And it's like, sometimes, again, you really cannot take how other people respond to you, how other people decide to treat you, the effort they decide to put into you, as like an indication of what's within you, because there's so many different factors that go into how other people treat you. Like, people have different fears. People come to their own conclusions without deciding to ask you certain questions. People decide that, hey, this is just something that's no longer for me because it's uncomfortable to them, and they're not willing to face their own fears. They're not willing to face the uncomfortable conversations. And so it's like, there's so many factors that can go into the decisions or the effort that people decide to invest into you. And sometimes you have to look at it as if, hey, I can't allow this to make me feel like I did the wrong thing, but it more so is just speaking about themselves and, where they're at with the relationship, or where they're at with the effort they want to put in. And I just have to allow that to be what it is. But you can't allow that person's rejection. You can't allow that person deciding to walk away that person letting you go as if you never mattered. You can't allow that to change who you are and how you show up in your relationships, but also how you see yourself. Because again, it's not an indication of you being the wrong person. It's more so an indication of you were the right person to the wrong people. And we sit here and we like to say like, oh, it was a waste of time. I feel like I invested so much into it. I feel like I did everything for nothing. And it's like, those things are only really a loss if you allow them to be. I feel like relationships and friendships that you do lose, that you did value a lot, or that did matter to you, those things are only a loss or feel like a waste of time if you allow them to be. Because you have to realize, a lot of y'all are trying to perform in these relationships. A lot of y'all are trying to perform in these friendships where you're trying to be the right person. And so of course, when a person decides to let you go, it feels like, oh, I failed. It feels like, oh, I didn't do enough, because the whole time you were only doing certain things in order to get a result or an outcome back. And so it feels like, oh, because I failed at getting that outcome or result, or to achieve what I was trying to achieve by doing all these different things, it feels like I failed and wasted my time. But when that's just who you are, one, you're going to take away so many different lessons. You're going to learn so many different things. You're going to appreciate that person and the experiences that they took you through. But you're also not going to see it as a waste of time, because if that's just who I am, then it's no wasting time of being myself. There's no sense of, oh, I invested so much energy and effort. It's more so like, I just showed up as myself in this relationship, and I wasn't performing or holding on to a hope for an outcome or to be enough for them, or I wasn't trying to be the right person for them. I was just being myself. And that's why, again, I feel like it's so important to love in the way that you truly do love, to be who you are in relationships. Because any other person that you're trying to be, you trying to be the right person, you trying to be enough, it makes you have a motive. It's like, I'm doing these things out of hope that it gets me here. And then it hurts so much more when you're performing or trying to be enough for a person, and that's still not enough to keep them around. Because then again, it feels like you wasted your time. It feels like you put in so much energy and effort, when it's like, there is no energy and effort if I'm just being myself, and that's just who I am on a day-to-day basis. So what you really just need to lock in on is developing the discernment to know who is and isn't worth your energy and effort. Not who is and isn't worth your energy and effort, but being smarter about finding the people who do value the love that you give out, who do appreciate, who do reciprocate, not because you need them to, but just because that's the type of people around you. Because again, I believe there is a sense of you needing a sense of fulfillment in a way from other people. Not in the sense of needing their validation, but more so like, I think you need people's love. I think you need companionship. I think you need to like have people that you're going through life with who lift you up in a sense, who pour energy into you, where you're not just somebody that's constantly pouring into other people. Because there's going to be moments where, hey, you are down. There's going to be moments where, hey, you want to receive compliments. You just want good energy people. And so you have to be intentional about finding the people who actually put in the same amount of effort that you're willing to put in, who match your energy, who are willing to love how you love, who fight through the hard moments and when things get uncomfortable. And so it's not about, again, you're choosing or you're the wrong person. Again, you're just being the right person, or you're being yourself to the wrong people. You're giving yourself to the wrong people. And when you find the people who actually do show you that, hey, I appreciate you. Hey, I do care about you. Hey, I do care to meet your needs. I do care to, emotionally be there for you, understand you, show up for you, put an effort into you, try with you, then again, you're going to feel like, okay, I do matter. You need to know that on your own, but it's going to feel you that sense of, hey, I'm around people who actually do value what I am constantly giving out and don't just take it for granted. But I love and appreciate you guys as always. And be sure to check out my Letting Go to Grow journal down below in the description, especially if you're looking to rebuild your self-worth and stop being a person that constantly chases people. But other than that, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Peace.